Why do you feel more like yourself the moment you're finally alone? Not lonely, not sad, just settled. That feeling has a reason, and it isn't about being introverted. It's about your nervous system. All day it absorbs noise, faces, decisions, other people's moods. That's a lot of input to hold at once. Solitude is when it finally gets to put some of it down. The quiet isn't you shutting people out. It's your system regulating after hours of being switched on. This is what that actually looks like inside your body. If that pull to be alone arrives with a side order of guilt, welcome. Most people never question the idea that wanting space means something's wrong. So the craving gets hidden, apologized for, explained away. Time to retire all of that. This is the reframe that sticks. Your nervous system has an alert mode for dealing with the world and a calm, restorative mode for recovering from it. Researchers call that calm one the parasympathetic state. Constant company and noise keep you tilted toward the alert side. Solitude is one of the simplest ways to let that high arousal side power down, which is why being alone can feel like your system finally settling. So the craving for solitude isn't a flaw in how you're built. It's your nervous system reaching for the exact conditions it needs to regulate. The moment you see it that way, alone time stops being something you apologize for and becomes something you schedule. 4 things are coming up. What's actually happening inside? Why chosen quiet works differently? Why the first few minutes feel strange? And how to enter this state on purpose, even on packed days. The third one is the counterintuitive one. It quietly explains why scrolling alone never seems to count. First up, what's actually going on in there? Picture your day as a running tally of input. Every conversation, every open tab, every hallway hello adds a line. Your brain treats each notification like a tiny doorbell, and somebody keeps ringing it. None of these things are big on their own. Together, they keep your system parked in alert mode for hours. That's not weakness. That's the machinery doing its job, just without a break. By evening, the tally is enormous, and your system doesn't hand you a receipt. It hands you a mood. That wired, scrape-thin feeling after a social day isn't drama, it's arithmetic. Psychologists at the University of Rochester tested what happens when the input stops. In plain terms, they parked people alone in a room for 15 minutes. No phone, no book, nothing to do but exist. The intense, revved-up feelings dropped measurably. The stressed ones and the excited ones both came down. The researchers gave it a name, the deactivation effect. Think of it as your internal volume knob easing back toward baseline. Your body settles, your thoughts get roomier, and the static fades. So here's your first usable piece, and it's gloriously unimpressive. 15 minutes alone, with nothing in your hands. Not as a reward for finishing everything, as maintenance, the way you'd charge a phone. You wouldn't shame your phone for needing a socket. Extend yourself the same courtesy. 15 minutes is the studied dose. But even 5 buys your system real ground. The second piece is where most people get it wrong: choice. Being alone comes in 2 completely different flavors. There's the alone you choose, and there's the alone that happens to you. Your body can tell them apart with unsettling accuracy. In that same research, something interesting showed up. When people actively chose their alone time, it brought relaxation and lower stress. Chosen quiet feels like safety. Unchosen isolation feels more like being stuck, and the calm never quite lands. That's also the clean line between solitude and loneliness. Loneliness is wanting connection and not having it. Solitude is a state you enter, not a trait you are. Read that one again. It's not an introvert membership card. It's not trauma or hypervigilance wearing a cozy disguise. It's not your system malfunctioning. It's a setting anyone can use, the way anyone can use sleep. Sure, some people reach for it more often. Quieter, more inward people tend to feel the pull sooner. If that flavor sounds familiar, there's a whole video on this channel for you, the one about the habits of high IQ introverts. But needing to recover from a loud day isn't a personality type. It's biology being reasonable. Nobody calls you an introvert for needing dinner. Want the fast version of the switch? Say it to yourself as the door closes. This is chosen. Sounds a bit silly, But naming the choice tells your system this quiet is safety, not exile. Same room, completely different reading. Number 3, the strange one. The first few minutes of real quiet often feel bad, restless, itchy, weirdly boring. And that reaction makes complete sense. Remember the deactivation effect from earlier. It turns down all the intense feelings, including the fun ones. So the buzz drops before the calm lands, and there's an awkward gap in between. Your brain, missing its usual noise, sends a craving for input, which is the exact moment your hand starts drifting toward your phone. Small problem there. Scrolling isn't solitude. It's a crowd in your pocket. 200 opinions, 40 faces, and a comment section walk into your quiet room. Your nervous system has to process every single one of them. The room is silent, but the input tally keeps climbing. That's everyday overstimulation recovery getting canceled mid-download. So the micro win here is embarrassingly small. When the itch comes, give the quiet 3 more minutes before you decide it's broken. That gap is not the practice failing. That gap is the downshift happening. Sit through it once, and you'll recognize it forever. The boredom is the toll booth. Calm is on the other side. And no, this doesn't require meditating. Staring out of a window counts. Watching dust float counts. The bar is on the floor, on purpose. If this channel keeps handing you small things that work, subscribing is an easy micro win. And a thumbs up teaches the algorithm that gentle beats loud. Right, back to the good stuff. And the last one, entering the state on purpose. Even Superman built himself a fortress of solitude. The strongest being in comics keeps a quiet headquarters in the Arctic ice. Not because he's broken, because that's where he recalibrates before facing the noise again. Your version needs less real estate and zero ice. It's built from pockets, not fortresses. The kettle minutes, standing there while it hums, doing absolutely nothing. The long way home, walked slowly, headphones off. 5 minutes in the parked car before walking into the house. A closed door and a chair, treated as an appointment. None of these need announcing or explaining. They just need protecting, the way you'd protect a meeting. Because that's what nervous system regulation actually looks like day to day, not a retreat in the mountains. A repeatable state you can step into between the loud parts. If you wait until you've earned it, the day will always outbid you. So put it on the calendar before the day starts negotiating. Regulate on schedule, not on collapse. One more upgrade for the packed seasons. Stack your exits onto things that already happen. The commute, the shower, the walk to the post box. Existing habits don't need willpower, just a small twist. Take the headphones out and let the walk be the walk. Your system doesn't need you to escape your life. It needs a few reliable exits built into it. So here's where this lands. The craving for solitude was never the problem. It's your nervous system knowing exactly what it needs and asking politely, not louder, just more often until you finally listen. What's your favorite pocket of alone time? The kettle, the car, the long way home? Drop it in the comments and give someone else a new exit to borrow. And if racing thoughts are what steal your quiet at night, there's a video here for that too. But the thing to take with you is this. You don't owe anyone an apology for recharging. Wanting to be alone sometimes isn't a flaw in the design. It is the design. See you in the next one. Micro Wins Club. Small steps towards real change.